Hello, everybody, and welcome to Red 2 Chatter, the podcast about everything Star Wars. Is this even considered a podcast anymore? Because
it's more of a
video cast.
Video
cast vlog
thingy. Anyway, I'm Dallin. This is Jay, and that's Ryan.
Hey guys.
Hello, everybody.
And so we don't have that much news today.
It might be a short episode, but that's all right.
Well,
yeah. Might be shorter than a normal hour-long episode.
I got a little bit of Legends.
Okay. Yeah.
That we could talk about.
So we'll just dive right in then.
Yeah.
We'll start off with our first category, which is news from around the galaxy. And our first bit of news is 2 new Ron Howard tweets. I know, shocking, right?
Shocking.
Have people talking about the Han Solo film yet again. I really like both of them. One of them is hard. Absolutely impossible to tell what's going on. It's so blurry. But this one of inside the cockpit of the speeder, or it looks like some sort of speeder.
Maybe a speeder, yeah.
Is pretty cool.
Yeah. Whoever's sitting down and like has like a gear shift looks like.
Right. It almost looks like is that what the steering wheel for Kit looked like a little bit?
Kind of.
On Knight Rider.
I think so. I think it's very similar.
Right.
With like the top of the steering wheel chopped out, the bottom of the steering wheel chopped out, so you just have the side.
Is the speeder gonna talk to him while he drives it?
Yeah,
or Han Solo drives it? Unless Han Solo isn't the one driving it.
Right. Who knows who's piloting that speeder, but it just looks really cool.
Yeah, it does look good.
And of course, Ron Howard just constantly putting stuff out for us.
It definitely looks Star Wars-esque in the way of like kind of the Millennium Falcon gauges and the
way the layout of the gauges are and just the way they look.
Yeah. So we got another one here. It says, intense and cool action scene on my monitors today as we make untitled Han Solo movie. Now, there seems to be like a bar fight going on.
Yeah, that's hard to tell if they're on that top picture.
Right.
I mean, like,
they're just two silhouettes, blurry silhouettes. And then that bottom picture I
think that's like kind of a
overhead.
Yeah, like an overhead view of the fight.
The top down,
like,
maybe the fight.
Maybe like a bar brawl starts up in a cantina. Like, that's pretty cool. We've never seen that really in a Star Wars movie.
No.
Where,
I mean, we saw some action go down in Mos Eisley.
Yeah, but we never saw like people like just punching the crap out of each other.
Right,
and,
not just like
throwing each other over tables.
It's basically Obi-Wan chopping off Panda Bobbitt's arm. Right. And you saw Ventress kill some guy with her lightsaber.
Also,
lightsaber? Yeah, she killed someone with
also, the Pantorans coming into that one place to get Greedo because he stole their daughters.
Yeah.
Or he stole his daughters and I think the guy's brother.
Yeah.
And then
Clone Wars.
Sisters.
But you're right. We haven't had like that Old West bar fight.
That might be what this is. It's kind of like an Old West bar fight.
Which I like. I hope the Bith are in the background just playing action music with their...
They just continue to play.
Yeah, they continue to play.
Like they've seen it before, is no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, some guy gets thrown out the swinging doors. Like the old school.
Cool. But like he gets thrown out and then he gets back up and runs back in.
Yep. And then some guy comes out a window. No. Oh yeah, maybe too far.
Maybe too far. Some guy gets thrown out a window and he comes jumping back into the...
It would be hilarious. It would be hilarious.
Maybe like someone comes in, he's like, shoots up his blaster and everyone stops.
Right. The sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff in town. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really interested to see where that scene could be and what what makes that fight go down. Maybe it's a diversion that Han Solo sets up to get out of there.
Maybe the room looks very circular.
Right.
Maybe
it's kind of weird.
What I'm thinking
it's
a
weird looking room.
Is that like
what you can see of it?
The middle is where the bar is, and then like the outside is where like all the seating and stuff is.
But I just have to wait and see. I mean, I'm super looking forward to Last Jedi first.
Oh yeah.
But Han Solo it's still on my radar. I'm still so excited.
It's still on my radar, but it's not quite as I'm not quite as hyped for it.
I haven't seen anything but these Twitter pictures.
Yeah.
Anything.
Once we see a trailer, I'm sure it'll be like really geeked up about it.
I'm pretty sure that they were planning on showing some sort of trailer teaser footage at D23, but then all the stuff went down with Lord Miller, and I think they kind of like just axed that,
Yeah, don't do it because you don't even know if Ron Howard's going to use the footage.
Right, we don't even know if that footage is going to be usable.
Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
All right, we'll just roll into the next one. It's how... So there's a little question that's out there is how did J.J. Abrams influence Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi? And this article came up. And, it's beyond where, obviously Force Awakens influenced Last Jedi. But sort of those things that J.J. Abrams has done since then beyond just the movie. Mm-hmm. So you can just kind of read off down his quotes there.
It says... Now, what is my place in the world? Where do I come from? Where do I belong? Okay, I understand what the weight of that is. We could play with those questions and their answers to have the biggest emotional impact on these characters.
Right, and in that, he's referring to Rey's parentage. It's it's not necessarily important to know whose Rey's parents are, but more, what is her place in the world now? Where did she come from? But more, not so much on, parentage type level.
Yeah.
Where did she come from? Where she's going?
I think the more important question to me is where is she going and what is she going to become? That's more important to me than where she came from. I mean, backstory is always nice to have with characters, but sometimes it's nice to have the mystery of the backstory too, where you can kind of make up your own,
Right. I mean, when Star Wars has always been littered with that mystery.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Yoda has it. We didn't... when we first watched New Hope, you really don't know where Obi-Wan came from or, what his sort of story was.
Darth Vader and Sidious.
And you also made assumptions of, Luke was always just a kid. He that's his uncle and aunt, and he just lived there, and he has no real significance or whatever.
Right.
You didn't know who his parents were, and then you find out, and then it's a huge shocker.
Right. Then, that's when everything kind of, gets flipped on its ear, and... everything is more revealed. And I think that's sort of what is going to happen here. There's not going to be a huge reveal, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to still kind of play with the mystery and just, not be so direct. It's all going to be sort of perspective,
jumbled a little bit. So the next one that we have is Marvel Star Wars will be streamed exclusively on Disney's new service.
So Marvel and
CEO
Star Wars?
Bob Iger.
Yeah, so Disney's new streaming service, all their version of Netflix or Hulu, if you will, is going to be the exclusive home of all things Star Wars and Marvel going forward.
But what about Defenders and Daredevil and Punisher? Punisher is coming out very soon. Does that mean that this new Disney thing will have an adult edge to it?
Well, that's the thing I have a problem with is Disney's not known as edgy and with adult content. How are you going to put how are you going to attach, well, since we're talking about it, how are you going to attach Punisher or Daredevil or Defenders or any of that stuff to the Disney brand?
Here's my theory.
Jay has his theory.
That Disney will let the Marvel's Defenders and those series run their course, and then once they're wrapped up, and there will be a wrap-up to them, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Then they'll just be over.
It's driving me nuts, though, because then it's going to be all kiddie friggin' PG all the time for Star Wars. That's non-movie content.
I just
don't like
hope that they will just take a risk, though. Disney will understand that they have to move things beyond a G or PG rating. I mean, as long as they're still getting influenced by Lucasfilm and, Marvel on the other hand, maybe those two companies will have a strong enough say, look, we need to push the envelope.
Yeah.
A little bit. Or we're going to, this content's just going to fizzle.
It's the problem with it is the raciest thing, in my opinion, that Disney has ever done in terms of its movies is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well,
I think because
that's called a Disney movie. Yeah, I mean, they own Marvel, so they definitely did Deadpool, which is definitely
no.
That's Fox.
Oh, is that Fox?
Did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the X-Men side of
the thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
of
things.
Marvel. Yeah.
So then you're right. Yeah, what is the most edgy thing that they've put out that's Marvel?
Pirate.
Maybe
Civil War?
Maybe Civil War or
I'd have to go back and look at their library to see like if there is anything really edgier than Pirates of the Caribbean.
And that's not edgy at all.
Number 3. That's
so,
the darkest one. Is number 3.
Yeah, and it's all very vanilla. I'm just afraid that they're gonna waste a great opportunity to make a little bit more edgy stuff. And I think you can make edgy stuff with Star Wars if it's done right. It doesn't,
The only like saving grace I have for this, and like the little like glimmer of hope, is that Rebels has gone to a darker place than I thought it would go.
Yeah.
Okay, true. It did step over some lines that I didn't think it would cross.
I didn't think it would cross some of those lines.
Like,
so I'm hoping that they take that as it's acceptable. And maybe they'll have different parts of their streaming service where it'll be, here's where the adult content is, here's where our TV, shows are, Hannah Montana and all that kind of stuff, and here's where our movies are. Maybe they'll have like some separation, like Netflix does. You have all your categories, and maybe they'll just categorize everything, and we'll get that.
Yeah, like there's in
adult.
Netflix you have the kid-friendly zone,
right?
And then you have the regular zone where you can watch stuff like Orange is the New Black or something.
I'm just being optimistic. Yeah. I'm not normally the optimistic one, but I'm just being optimistic about it.
I mean, I'm
just not very optimistic.
I mean, to be honest, I've never seen that scene where Kanan becomes blind. But that scene was actually pretty graphic, to be honest. Like, you see what he sees, you see, like, the white and then the red, and you're like, holy crap! Like, that actually was pretty dark.
Yeah, I mean, for a Disney XD show, I thought they went to places I didn't think they would go to.
Yeah.
But you definitely...
It's not as dark as Clone Wars,
It's
though.
just...
No.
I just don't see how you can get... some of the content's gonna... If you... it depends on how they break up, how they have stuff set up on their streaming page. Maybe there's going to be an not an adult section, but like,
Triple X.
No, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I get you.
PG-13 and rated R kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But Disney isn't known for doing that type of content, so I'm just afraid that they're going to waste an opportunity to be able to do some stuff that's a little more edgy to keep some of the older fans and some of the more 20-ish year-old fans engaged in Star Wars.
Right. They have allowed Marvel to do the Defenders service. So I'm just hoping, because Disney still has control over that property.
Oh, yeah.
So they have allowed it
in the Marvel, other platforms. I'm just afraid
and
that...
it is in the Marvel universe,
right. And I'm just
universe.
hoping that they find a place to put it on their own platform.
Yeah, and if they can't, then I hope they do go outside of that platform, even though it says it's going to be exclusively on here. I'm hoping that if someone comes up with a great idea that can be a little edgier, maybe they'll still go on to Netflix with it, or
Amazon Prime,
because that Disney badge is just
those two all
that Disney badge is synonymous with friggin' PG and G stuff, and that's all.
Yeah, those Mickey Mouse ears are.
Synonymous with Cinderella and Mickey Mouse.
It's hard to do something that's more edgy on something that's called the Disney streaming channel or whatever it's going to be called.
Yeah, whatever it's going to be named.
That's it. We'll just have to wait and see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right, so what's our...
All right, up next we have new images from the trading card company Topps. They released some of their card images. And it gives us a better look at some of our favorite characters, and I really like the one that's he looks so the most menacing I've ever seen him look.
Yeah, he looks evil.
He looks like Anakin when he was chopping down younglings.
Like he's got that scowl.
Yeah.
And just as the way he's positioned forward and stuff.
I think some of the toys and stuff have kind of made him look to be kind of goofy because of his gold outfit, but this is that gold outfit, and it doesn't look gold. It's not so...
Because it's in different lighting.
It's not flashy gold.
Yes, it's not the flashy gold that everybody's thinking of right now, because the pop vinyl guy is
he's like really gold,
really flashy, shiny 24-karat gold,
and like 70s, pimp gold.
Apparently he's Bruno Mars.
But in this picture here, it's very subdued gold.
Yeah,
and he looks way more menacing and scary looking than what the action figures and stuff.
I mean, it's the first time I've really seen him all right, that's a villain.
I just realized, I was looking at this picture, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this picture somewhere before, and it was a post on one of the I think it's just called like Star Wars memes, whatever. They took this picture, and then they crossed that, and then like put a dot so it looks like a question mark.
his big
scar.
old scar down in his skull.
Yeah, and then they put a dot like where his nose
Yeah, I
is.
wonder
and
how
it
he
looks
got
like
that. See, he's a mystery.
Right.
He's very mysterious. That character.
Very
And
mysterious.
also like half his face is like burned off. Like
Maybe-
he saw thermal detonators.
No, it's because of his
Close
height.
up.
He can't be that.
Now,
You don't. I don't think you've ever seen him in Star Wars before because of his height.
I know this is getting a touch off topic, but there's a little room, fan theory going around that
Yeah.
Snoke is in the process of regenerating himself. Like through, like sort of like Anakin was in Rogue One in the Bacta tank. Like he's in the process of trying to repair
Oh,
his
the
image.
damage.
The damage that's been done to him
maybe.
at some point. Who knows?
Maybe
It's a kind of a cool fan theory.
Yeah, maybe he needs to take the Force from people to do that.
Right, maybe.
Maybe that's why he's got Kylo out there hunting down. I don't know.
Right, maybe.
We'll find
Maybe
out.
he can
What's the...
influence the Force to make it into a healing factor.
I love. When I was little, I used to collect baseball, football cards and stuff, and I love collecting these cards. I mean, these got some really cool images on them. But man, the runs just don't last long enough on these. They don't keep them out there long enough. I can never get them all, and then it just drives me nuts.
Right, because some of them are like 1 in every 1,000 pack. I mean, you'll never get that card.
Yeah, your odds are.
I mean, those of you who play Pokemon or any of the...
Oh yeah.
Or...
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right. Or...
Magic the Gathering.
Digimon.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know the plight of card
Collecting, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I got 700 of this
Magic
card, but
the
I still haven't
Gathering.
got one of this card.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering, yeah.
That's a good
That's
one.
probably the worst one.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering is probably the worst.
So here we have another picture. We now have a definite number. There's five Praetorian guards,
Yeah, it looks
and
like...
one
looks
is
like it.
different. It looks like.
According to this image. Now, I wonder if they fit in to
The Knights
the
of
Knights
Ren.
of Ren somehow.
Maybe these guys are the Knights of Ren.
They got turned into the guards.
Or maybe... Who knows? I mean, I still want to know about the Knights of Ren. Like, we haven't hardly heard or seen anything
yeah, with them
coming into
talking-
The Last Jedi about Knights of Ren.
No, you haven't seen anything about. You haven't heard anything about toys being made or
Yeah, no.
I hope
nothing.
it's not just one of those things that just like was briefly mentioned and
And then it
just
just dies
disappears
off and
never,
disappears.
Right, we never hear about
I
it again
hope
until
not.
we get a comic book 5 years from now. We'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, like Kylo already killed off all the Knights of Ren or something. It's like,
Right.
You are the last Knight of Ren. No.
yeah,
But here we got a picture of Kylo Ren.
that's a very knight.
Yeah, it's like
a very knightish pose.
like even kind of
on one,
you know
knee
talking about what we were talking about Snoke's personality a few episodes
of being
back.
a king.
King, knight.
Right.
That's very
He's like-
medieval.
Has a
Look.
sort of king quality
Like-
about him, like in
And
sort
that-
of reverence.
Yeah, and that picture right there definitely gives you a image of a knight with a king and then the king's guards.
Yep.
Man, that's a
That's it. I mean, these cards are
those
so cool.
cards are awesome. I might have to pick some up, even though I won't get all. It'll drive me nuts if I can't get them all.
I'd love to have them
But-
like in a poster size. That would be cool.
Oh yeah,
Of course, I have no room
I would
for that.
so have this on my wall.
Yeah, I have
I-
zero room for posters.
No room,
I would have that on my wall.
but it'd be cool to see them like that size.
Yeah.
The next one here is of Kylo, just holding his helmet.
He's got his helmet like he's
His-
palming a basketball.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna we've seen so many pictures of Kylo with his helmet off. I think we're gonna see a lot of
without
Kylo
him,
with his helmet
without
off.
his helmet. I think so too.
There's my woman, Captain Phasma.
She's even got a chrome gun.
Yep, she's
Right.
even got Cardinal in Phasma novel has a bright red gun.
Bright red gun.
Yep.
I still have to read that. I've got the book.
Yeah,
I'm reading other things. I just don't have time for it right now.
Got the Executioner,
Or as I like to call him, Melee Trooper.
Melee Trooper.
I like that better. I think Dylan should be working for Lucasfilms to make
Should be
up
coming up with these names.
Coming up with the names. Melee Trooper just sounds way cooler than Executioner.
There's one of the I almost said knights. One of the guards,
And the Praetorian Guards, and he's standing kind of like a knight would too, with
Right.
two hands,
kind of like a
this.
Templar.
Yep, almost
Like
like,
a
Knights Templar.
Yeah, like a Knights Templar.
Yeah,
I think you guys are onto something. This guy thinks he's a king. He
Yeah.
wants to be not an emperor,
a
but
ruler.
a king.
He wants to be a ruler, like a
Yeah.
king.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's really cool with Rey and Luke.
Yep.
And there's an X-wing fighter down there.
Yeah. There's that awesome poster.
That's that poster.
It's still, I still love it, like, because again, it kind of harkens back to, the original one.
Yeah, some of the older school stuff. There's a lot of BB-8,
BB-8.
Chewbacca.
Where's the Porg? Where's the Porg? We got Finn.
Another one with all the good guys, pretty much.
Guys, yeah.
Sans Leia.
Except for Leia.
Right. No Leia in that
Leia.
image.
Poe.
I think
R2.
Leia's going to be on a little bit
They've
different.
got a ton of different...
There you go. There's the Porgs.
Man, they got a whole bunch of them inside there.
I think Leia's going to be in a different arena when it comes to, like, she's going to be more, like, on the political side. She's going to have to take over that political side of
all those
the
people that got killed off.
I mean,
so I think she's going to be, like, playing that role a lot more, and she's not going to see hardly any action.
so I actually have a theory about this image.
I could see that.
I have a theory about this image. What if Chewie just takes one on board?
And it's like
not
tribble. It's like a tribble.
Yep, it's like a tribble.
Tribble, and it just multiplies.
Just mitosis. like.
Just
we don't need Star Wars tribbles.
Just gets full enough and it splits into two.
Star Trek has enough tribbles.
Yeah. Tribbles are my favorite thing about Star Trek. Don't bash the tribbles.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of these cards.
Right, and you want to check them out? You can go to our Facebook page.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely
worth checking.
I'll definitely pick up a few packs just to see what I get.
I hope I get that night one. Him bowing.
Yeah, that one's
fun. All right, so moving on to the next topic, we have more images.
Yeah.
This time from within the pages of Empire Magazine. And Empire Magazine always puts out some great images, just like Variety does. Especially when, like for Star Wars movies, they really seem to put out some good photos.
Yeah. So we have like a picture of Chewbacca.
And director Rian Johnson.
Yep.
Inside the Millennium Falcon, it looks like the cockpit.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Giving him some direction on what he wants him to do.
Yep.
Then you have Poe running.
Yep, it looks like
some dude running in the background.
That looks like maybe right before his ship gets blown up in the trailer that we see.
Yeah, because you see him running and then you see BB-8 beside him.
Right beside him, yeah.
Rolling.
This is probably my favorite one, the one of Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he just has that like gray, almost like a poncho looking outfit.
Yeah.
And he just like blends into the background.
To the rocks in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just blends in. Like he's camouflaged.
The one of Rey looks really good.
Looks like she's on a spiritual journey.
Yeah, that's kind of what she. Yeah, that's what the Force is, kind of.
But I wonder if like
he'll
give her like a task, like go to the highest peak and fetch me water and then come back down.
Like some old some old master in Tibet or whatever,
or Chinese legends or something. Yeah, like
Tibetan monk
ritual or something. Like that. You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
There's one of Phasma.
It's actually kind of interesting because in this picture, I'm sure it's just the lighting, but her Phasma's suit looks darker.
Her cape?
Well, no, just her chrome. Her chrome looks darker.
I think it's just the lighting.
Yeah, I think it is just the lighting. Which I always wonder that you have to be careful with that chrome outfit so that you don't get a reflection of
everybody. That's everybody just behind the camera.
It's gotta be
and the studio lights,
right?
I wonder if they probably go in there digitally and freaking fuzz stuff up or something.
Sure.
Right,
there's gotta be something.
They look like they're having a good time. You got John Boyega, Oscar Isaac. I always want to say Oscar Wilde. Why?
He's probably one of the more famous Oscars.
He's a famous Oscar.
yeah, I guess.
Oscar the Grouch, too.
Oh, yeah,
if we're calling out Oscars.
Yeah. And then Rian Johnson, and then some dude in the background.
That's a
just minding
stagehand, looks like.
And that's it. That's all of them.
Yeah, so, again, just some really cool pictures.
We have them on our Facebook page, too, a link to that.
Yep.
Yeah, but I believe that Empire Magazine came out last Friday, so you could probably pick it up on a newsstand, too.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
All right, moving on, we have more pictures. Yay! This one's a picture of Finn and Rose, and they're inside the Canto Bight Casino, or what we're calling Canto Bight. I don't know exactly what Canto Bight is, if it's the planet that the casino's on, or if it's the name of the casino. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Yeah.
But it's pretty intense picture. Like
we've seen 2 pictures of them now together, and both of the times they're in an argument.
It looks like they're pissed off at one another.
And I don't know if they're like trying to infiltrate something here, so they're just gonna like act something out to try to get attention drawn to them. Who knows what's going on?
Hey, there's that dude.
Yeah,
we saw him in a previous
photo. I think in the Variety magazine.
Yeah. Sorry, is this the casino?
Does it look like he's holding some little like creature?
Yeah. He's like holding a little
like the little.
It looks like a gremlin porg.
Looks like people, like those people with their little posh dogs, you know.
Like,
yeah.
You know,
their little status symbol dogs.
Yeah, little status symbol dogs. They carry.
You got a Padme Amidala back here with her huge headdress.
Yeah, those people are back there playing some sort of.
It looks like they're playing some sort of gaming.
Playing some roulette.
Some sort of gambling.
Yeah.
Game.
But Canto Bight like intrigues me a lot.
Oh yeah, me too.
The thought of like this sort of uppity casino type atmosphere where all the
because that's one thing you've never seen.
Who's who of the galaxy show up to you.
That's not something you've never really seen except for maybe in
Clone Wars.
What's it called? In where Queen Amidala comes from. That's kind of
and Naboo.
Naboo's kind of an upscaley,
right?
But you never see in Star Wars. It's usually gritty and kind of
it's mostly gritty nightclubs that you go to.
Well, just or dangerous places. Yeah,
cantinas or nightclubs.
Yeah, it's not a high class, high society type places that you usually go to in Star Wars. So this will be different.
This doesn't seem like the place where someone would like pull a gun out on you.
All right.
Yeah, they may not even let you carry a blaster in that kind of place.
Yeah.
And that'll wrap up the news from around the galaxy. So we're moving on to Tashi Toy Station.
Yep.
And HasCon 2017 was this past weekend. Or I think it's, as we're recording, it's still going on. But it was this past weekend. And they have released some images of some of the new toys coming out. I think most likely Wave 2 of some of the figures. Black Series and the 3.75 figures. So some pretty cool stuff came out of HasCon, picture-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I still...
got, like, shelves full of stuff.
Well, that's the old school stuff that they're showing there. And I still say that the stuff made by Kenner back in the 70s and 80s is better than the stuff they're making today.
I think the packaging is better.
I think maybe that's what it is. The packaging is better.
Because
the toys are almost exactly the same. They haven't changed much.
Nah, radio-controlled R2-D2.
Because I open mine, and when I really get to feel, like, touch them and stuff, they feel, like, really well put together, and there's a lot more detail that you can, like, feel with your hands.
Oh, there's way more detail nowadays than there was back then. I think maybe you're right. Maybe it's the packaging and the way it looks.
The way it's, like, displayed, like, in the stores. They don't have, like, even the stores are a little bit to blame because they don't have quite the displays they did back. I mean, you walk into a Kmart back in the 80s, and there was or KB Toys, if you remember those, going to the mall.
Yeah.
You walk, and there's like an entire aisle almost dedicated, or at least half an aisle, just to Star Wars, top to bottom. Every peg stuffed to the back.
Yeah.
You know?
Even when the prequels came out, it was that way.
Oh, yeah.
Right, nowadays it's like they just kind of like filter a little bit out here and
a little out there. Yeah, that drives me crazy.
And I don't know if it's the stores.
I think it's the online sales, the ability to buy stuff online now. It's just killed it.
You're probably right. That probably has a big contributor. But I think the stores just don't want that much stock on hand.
Yeah, they just don't want they don't want too much inventory where it's all said and. Except for they seem to, when they first came out with Force Awakens, they seemed to overbought Wave 1, and then I never got hardly any Wave 2, 3, and almost 0, 4.
Right. And I think another factor is that there are so many other choices for kids in toys.
Yeah, back then
we had G.I. Joe, Star Wars,
you had other stuff. You had
He-Man,
Thundercats, He-Man.
But those ones weren't near as big,
No,
the ones based off the cartoons.
Transformers was probably the other one that was bigger.
Yep.
But you're right, there wasn't as much as there is now, where there's just
there's just not as many.
They also didn't
options.
back then. They weren't competing with video games. They weren't competing with the internet.
Right, you had toys to enhance your imagination, and that's what you played. Right, you went over to your friend's house and you gathered up your Darth Vader case full of Star
Star
Wars
Wars
toys,
toys.
and you ran across the street to your buddy's house,
and you pull them out and start playing.
Right. I mean, that was life back in the 80s,
that was your entertainment. Now you got all kinds of, how many of them channels do you have on TV to watch?
Right.
And how many video gaming
So there's
consoles
a lot
are there?
of factors, I think, into why we just don't see as many toys in
Yeah.
the stores anymore.
They just don't seem to be as, I don't know,
Plentiful.
maybe it's just because I was a kid then. They seem to be cooler back. When
Of course they were.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it was.
Now I have to buy Sideshow collectibles to get the cool factor.
Yeah, true. True.
But I still buy the toys. I still love them to death, so.
I miss those old toy commercials from the 80s. Like, I've seen some of them.
Oh, yeah, you can watch them on YouTube.
Hilarious.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Spinning attack action! Wow!
Yeah, like the kid. Wow!
Yeah, they hardly even do that kind of commercial.
Nope.
I know, it sucks.
I think they do them on some of the Disney channels, but you don't see them on network TV
No.
anymore at all. Well, there's no more Saturday morning cartoons. I know we're getting off on a tangent. I mean, there is literally like, when I wake up on Saturdays when I was young, man, there was cartoons from the time you woke up until lunch.
Yeah.
To watch, you know?
Yeah, tons of
Awesome.
different cool cartoons. I guess it's just not as profitable nowadays.
Right, it's just not the same.
No.
But
Times are changing.
They do have some pretty cool looking ones though, and they've kind of gone back to.
The old school.
Right, well, these, the vintage collection.
Is that what those are called? The vintage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are. The vintage collections look pretty cool. This is how they're going to get you. They're going to.
Right, it's the new figures on the old Kenner style card backs.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to get you to buy even more and more and more.
And I'm
or at least the collector is going to buy more and more and more and more.
Right, I'm pretty sure this is where we're going to see the Dr. Aphra figure is going to be on the vintage collection back.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised. But
That'll be a cool one.
Yeah.
I would buy them just simply for the artwork on the side.
Well,
Like,
that
you know,
was
like,
That's
that
what
was
the old,
half of the appeal too to the
Yeah.
old ones.
Yeah.
was the artwork of the character.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness some people were smart enough not to open them.
Oh, I know. God,
I wish I was. I opened everything.
brilliant
I was
geniuses.
just a kid.
I hope they got two, because I hope they got to enjoy playing
playing
with
with
them,
them, yeah.
and were smart enough to keep one in the package.
for a collection. Yeah.
Lucky little kids.
Yep.
I opened all mine up.
So did I.
I lost
Okay,
the
I just had to make
All
sure.
the guns and stuff.
lost all
weapons.
the weapons and
You
stuff, and
scared
within
me.
minutes.
Yeah.
You scared me for a minute, Brian. You were like just staring off at the camera. I'm like, oh crap, is something wrong?
No, I was just looking to see if the battery was still alive. It looks like it's still good.
This is still a rocky process if you can't tell.
Yeah, we're still getting used to making sure everything's working.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Still work in progress. All right, so
There was no gaming with Gamorreans news.
yep, no gaming news this week.
Man, they're really pulling back on
I think the
information on that. I think
Well,
they'll
I
just
mean,
wait until it comes out.
yeah. I'll definitely give a review when it comes out.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna play it
Yeah.
just because.
Yeah, I think
Looks like
EA
fun.
has just pulled back on some of their marketing until they're going to get their real marketing.
Well, the real push
I mean,
in like
right.
maybe mid-October.
That's
late
surprising
October.
since PAX was like not too long ago. It was like I think last weekend that PAX happened. I mean, I'm not sure, but
I'll enlighten everybody what's PAX.
okay, PAX is basically it's like E3,
Okay.
but it's a smaller E3.
Okay.
It's still pretty well known.
Tell everybody what E3 is.
E3 is a big gaming convention.
Convention. Yeah.
PAX is a smaller gaming convention.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, some people might
mean-
not know what you're talking about when you're talking
Yeah,
start
yeah.
throwing these words around. It's like,
I mean,
what's PAX? I have no clue what that guy's talking about.
but I'm sure. I don't know. I was expecting something to come out of this game during PAX, but I guess not.
Yeah, I didn't see anything come up on any of my news feeds I follow. So
Now, isn't they're also making another game, right? Like later down the road.
Visceral.
A
Yeah, I
Visceral
think
game.
that's going to be coming a lot later, though.
So maybe sometime next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, maybe next year.
yeah, I think it's 2018.
Are they? So they don't have anything that's like coming out with this new Xbox. They're not like launching anything with this
Oh,
new
the new
Xbox,
Xbox X.
One X.
Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Yeah, stupidest name ever.
No, I think there's some other dumb ones, but
The Switch.
Yeah. That is very true. But
I don't get it.
That it's because you switch.
I don't get it.
But no, yeah, I'm sure they'll probably put out like a special edition of the first game. I don't know. Maybe if that ever happens. I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
All right.
But
so basically, there hasn't been any new news about Battlefronts 2 or anything else that's coming out in the way of gaming.
Nothing I've run into.
Nope.
So, do we have extra chatter today?
Well, I can tell you a legend.
All right.
I should like bring a hood along with me, and I should just like let me tell you a story.
What, like the Tales from the Crypt guy?
Yeah. Tale for kiddies.
Okay,
So-
give us a legend, and we'll tell you if it's stupid or not.
So, okay, this is actually the story of Nihilus. And basically what is known as the Sith Trinity. So this is back in the Old Republic. This is actually the plot of the game Star Wars The Old Republic 2. Basically, you have 3 Sith. And this was actually after the rule of 2 was already established. So they broke the law of the rule of 2. So you have Darth Nihilus.
Not everybody did.
True.
Well, even Count Dooku was
Count
basically
Dooku
kind
was-
of breaking the law.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The
Count
rule.
Dooku
He had friggin' Ventress, and she was a...
had his own little apprentice.
That is true, yeah.
He was her... She was a...
But no, but he was still technically, he was still Sidious's apprentice. Darth Traya and her Trinity completely was separate from the other Sith Lords. So, basically, Darth Traya was this ex-Jedi who left the Order, who was actually banished from the Order because of her dark ways, and sent into exile, like Ahsoka was, kind of. And she started up being a Sith, and then she got two apprentices. There's Darth Nihilus, who developed the power to eat planets with his dark force powers, and Darth Sion, who was able to keep himself basically immortal with his dark force powers. I'll explain their powers separately. So basically, what Darth Nihilus would do, he would come on his big ship called the Ravager, and it was this large Old Republic ship that flew over planets, and then he would basically meditate in the bridge and use his powers to slowly suck the life force away. And the Ravager was so well defended that he didn't need to worry about anyone trying to come up and stop him, because their ship would just get blown up if they tried to stop him. So he would just slowly suck the force out of the planet, and then he'll basically become more and more powerful through that. Darth Sion, he was originally human, but as he lived more and more, he started looking less and less human, and his skin began to crack, and also Darth Nihilus was human too, but again, more and more he looked less human, and he had to cover his face with a mask. But Sion basically died and then brought himself back to life with the Dark Force powers, basically doing a Darth Plagueis the Wise on himself. And he would get beaten. You could beat him as much as you want. Wouldn't matter. He would still push through because of his rage and hatred towards his opponent. And that basically powered him up. So you had these 3. And eventually, of course, you know how it is with Sith. They all turned on each other.
Yeah.
Specifically, Nihilus and Sion worked together to bring down Traya. They came up and they just beat her down, and she became weaker in the Force because they slowly sucked the Force out of her, and so she became a lot weaker than what she was previously. She meets a woman. The name is escaping me, but it's basically the main character of Knights of the Republic 2. And they go on this adventure to find the the Jedi Council, because they've all split up to hide from the Sith. And they go and find them, and they eventually bring them all together. And then the Jedi reveal that Darth Traya is actually Darth Traya, and not the person that you think was your friend the whole time. And you end up having to go and kill Darth Trey at the end of the game. And so basically ending the whole the whole Sith Trinity. So that is the story of the Sith Trinity.
Just my problems are with the ability to suck the whole life force from a planet.
What?
Crap.
Being
That's
alive
the stuff that's
through
dumb.
pure rage? What about that part? And hatred.
The only thing that makes
I
me
could see where you could be, use the dark side. I mean, I think, Darth Sidious or the Emperor used it kind of that way to prolong his life because he's just angry all the time. Use the dark side of the Force to keep himself alive. Just like I think Yoda kind of used the light side of the Force to keep himself alive for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So I could see where you could kind of make yourself immortal. I think if somebody came and used a lightsaber and cut your head off, you're done. Doesn't matter how much rage you have.
I mean, but he would get stabbed and he'd still get going. He'll still keep going.
I can see that. That's kind of like what Kylo did. He got injured. He got shot by Chewbacca, and that just made him more pissed off, and he just fueled his rage to come after Finn and Rey even harder.
Right.
So I can see that. I can buy that, but sucking the life force from a whole planet is just stupid.
the only thing that makes me believe that can happen comes from Vader's mouth himself. He's like, on the first Death Star when they have the little meeting, he's like, this, terrible weapon you've designed is no match for the powers of the Force.
Yeah.
Almost saying that anything you can do with this machine you've built, I can do with the Force.
I can do better.
I can do even. Yeah,
I can do worse with the Force. So you can destroy that planet over there. I can destroy that planet worse, faster, or
There's I can see.
So if you just tapped into it, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, Nihilus is looks wise one of the coolest. Sith there is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He is a sweet character.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, on that sense, I can kind of see maybe not draining an entire life force from a planet, but diminishing it,
using a lot of it up,
being able to use it for his advantage. I could see that.
Yeah, but just making dead planets, that's all he does is just fly around to make dead planets. Just sounds stupid.
Yeah.
What's the point?
He also had his own apprentice.
Marvel already has that character. It's called Galactus.
Yeah. But he also had his own apprentice named Visas who actually goes with the Jedi. She turns back into a Jedi by the end. And she actually strikes him down.
I think if somebody worked on Ventress a little longer, you could get her to turn back or turn to the good side.
Turn to the good
Or
side?
at least be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, she was already going that way.
She eventually did marry what's his name? The guy he's in Clone Wars with Obi-Wan, and they're chasing Cad Bane. He's kind of like a renegade guy.
Quinlan Voss.
Yeah, she marries Quinlan Voss, and that's how she eventually dies, is trying to save his life.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention also, Darth Traya is in a lack for a better word, a huge fangirl of Revan. She loves that dude. She basically took all of her Sith inspiration from him and kind of learned the balance or whatever. Because, Revan was supposed to be the balance between good and evil and stuff.
I mean, I hope they bring some of these characters.
Yeah.
And just redevelop like they've done with, Thrawn from Legends. Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of cool that they're able to sort of cherry pick parts of Legends and make it canon. I think it's cool.
I mean, I don't have a problem with some of the stuff, but just some of it's kind of
you have to make it fit the story.
Yes, that's the problem. Is this stuff? A lot of stuff.
I'm sure you can probably use Nihilus's power, just tone it down a bit.
Yes, you could definitely do that. Where maybe he just sucks the life force from a person next to him to use it.
A living thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But not the whole planet. That's just the ridiculous part of it, in my opinion. In my opinion, that'd be almost too much force. You got almost too much. It'd probably kill you.
The good thing about this story and the old Knights of the Republic games is that they never mention midichlorians, which is so nice.
The only mention of that is in the prequels.
So that is true.
Did they mention the Clone Wars?
I think there's one mention of the midichlorians one time in the Clone Wars.
And I think it's when Count Dooku is stealing away the babies.
Yes.
And I think that's the one time that
I
they
think
mention
Obi-Wan or somebody mentions that they're the
I
midichlorians or
must
something.
have just blocked it out of my mind.
Yeah, dude, I wish I could. That's the best thing to do is just block
Must
that
have
out of
just
your mind.
blocked it.
So, do you think we have enough time to do?
No, I think let's just wrap it up.
Okay.
We'll save this last thing for
Another time.
another
All
time.
right. So this was a bit of a shorter episode.
Meh, it doesn't matter.
We
We didn't have. There was this. Well, we also did this sooner than we normally do it.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. It's a night before what we were usually.
No,
Two nights.
two nights before. So
Yeah, I knew
We
we
usually have 2 days more of information.
Information.
It's Sunday right now, or it's Tuesday. Yeah,
when we normally record.
when we normally record. We're gonna switch it to Monday.
Yeah,
Or-
we
or-
might work on Sundays.
Or just keep it here on Sunday. But we'll figure that out. You guys don't care.
But no, yeah, it's I think it's going good filming ourselves though.
Yeah, hopefully the lighting's a little better in this.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I rewatched our last week's episode. Hopefully the lighting's a
I
little
don't know
better.
if you can see my shirt or not. I don't know. I'll have to look back.
See if you're just a floating head back there.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
I wore the light gray today, so you can actually.
Yeah,
see
I
me.
wore the black. So I hope that you all enjoyed. And Jay, where can people find you?
You found me on Instagram at jwilsonbydesign and on Twitter at jbird51.
Okay. You can find me on YouTube as well. Major Glitterix, down in the description below. You'll find a link to the channel. I do gameplay videos, of course, and yeah, I'm gonna start up Yakuza 2 tonight, which I'm excited for.
Nice.
Cool.
So yeah. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed, and we will all be seeing you next time.
Have a good week, guys.
Right.
Bye. I love that thing.